You've got these two ancient superpowers, Rome and Persia, locked in this epic struggle for almost 700 years. But here's the thing. This isn't just a story about their war. It's the story of how they fought so hard for so long that they bled each other completely dry, and in doing so, created the perfect vacuum for a totally new power to rise from the ashes and change the world forever. Imagine being a Roman general, and those are the last words you ever hear. Chilling, right? They were spoken right before molten gold was poured down his throat. And that single, brutal act of revenge, that wasn't the end. Oh no, that was the beginning of a conflict that would span centuries and bring both of these mighty empires to their knees.
So, to really get what happened in the 7th century, these world-shattering events, we've got to go back, way back. We're talking 53 BC to a single disastrous battle in the Syrian desert that basically lit the fuse on a 700-year-long powder keg.
So you've got this Roman general, Crassus. He's watching his rival, a little guy named Julius Caesar, get ridiculously rich conquering Gaul. And he's thinking, hey, I want a piece of that action. So he gathers up his army, 40,000 Roman soldiers, and marches right into the Persian Empire, absolutely certain he's about to find glory and a whole lot of gold.
The Romans roll up with 40,000 heavily armored legionaries. I mean, a literal wall of shields and steel. And who meets them? Just 9,000 Persians, most of them lightly armored guys on horseback. On paper, this should have been a cakewalk for Rome, an easy win. Well, they were about to get a very, very rude awakening.
At first, things seem to be going exactly to plan for the Romans. The Persian Horse Archers ride up, let loose a volley of arrows, and the Romans just lock their shields together into that famous testudo formation. The arrows just bounce right off. The Romans were probably laughing, just waiting for the Persians to run out of arrows and give up.
But then, the Persians do something completely unexpected, something the Romans had never seen before. They pretend to retreat. And as the Roman lines break formation to give chase, the Persian archers twist around in their saddles and start firing backwards. The Romans are completely stunned, hundreds of them drop, and just like that, the whole battle flips on its head.
So as the now confused Roman soldiers crest a hill, they come face to face with this, the Cataphract. You can basically think of it as an ancient tank. It's a fully armored soldier on a fully armored horse. This was a military technology so far ahead of its time that Europe wouldn't develop anything even close for another 1,400 years, and 1,000 of them were charging straight for them.
It was an absolute catastrophe for Rome. Their plan to just wait out their arrows? Yeah, that didn't work. Turns out the Persians brought 1,000,000 spares loaded on camels. The Cataphracts just sliced through the Roman legions. By the time it was over, 20,000 Romans were dead, another 10,000 captured. And Crassus, the man who came looking for gold, well, he got it molten and poured straight down his throat. This one gruesome event kicked off the next 700 years of war. That one battle set the tone for centuries. So now, let's fast forward about 650 years to the 7th century AD. This is it, the final 26-year-long death match between Rome and Persia. This wasn't just another little border dispute. This was the war that was going to finally completely break them both. So it all kicks off in 602 AD. The Persian emperor declares war to avenge his friend, the Roman emperor, who'd just been murdered. But it quickly spirals out of control. It gets so messy, so destructive, that a Persian general named Shahabraz just decides, you know what, I'm carving out my own empire from all this chaos. The war finally whimpers to a close in 628, not with some glorious victory, but with an assassination. You have to appreciate what was at stake here. I mean, look at this. At the start of the war, the Eastern Roman Empire was a sprawling superpower. It controlled everything from Egypt, through the Middle East, all the way to modern-day Turkey. It was rich, powerful, and it seemed like it would last forever. But by the middle of the war, look at this. It's an absolute mess. The empire is shattered. That general, Shahabraz, he sliced off a huge chunk for himself, from Egypt all the way to Armenia. The old world order wasn't just cracking, it was completely collapsing into a three-way free-for-all. And here's the final scorecard. By 628, both empires were just shells of their former selves. Their armies, their economies, even their populations were at rock bottom after centuries of fighting. They were like two heavyweight boxers who had punched each other into a mutual knockout.
Okay, so while all of this grand imperial drama is unfolding, while the giants are tearing each other to pieces, something else is happening, something important. In a part of the world that Rome and Persia couldn't have cared less about, a new community with a new prophet was being forged in the deserts of Arabia.
I mean, compared to those sprawling empire maps, this almost looks like nothing, right? Just two small towns in the desert, Mecca and Yathrib. Arabia was this forgotten corner of the world. It had never been unified. Nobody saw it as a threat or even a player on the world stage. It was a backwater.
But now, look at these dates. At the exact same time Rome and Persia are locked in their final apocalyptic war, this new community is fighting its own brutal battles for survival. In 610, Muhammad receives his first prophecy. By 622, he and his followers are exiled. They suffer defeats, they win crucial victories, they're being hardened and unified by conflict, just as the old empires are being totally consumed by it. When you put the two timelines side by side like this, the contrast is just staggering. It couldn't be clearer. On one side of the world, you have total self-destruction, chaos, and collapse. And on the other, you have the birth of something new, something unified and battle-tested, ready to step onto a world stage that has suddenly been swept clean of its giants.
And this right here is the absolute heart of the story. You have two of the most powerful civilizations the world had ever known. And after centuries of fighting, they had bled each other bone dry, leaving a massive, gaping power vacuum right in the middle of the known world.
So that leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? When the Titans fall, who rises from the rubble? The stage was set for one of the most incredible and rapid shifts in power in all of human history, and the answer was about to come from the very last place anyone expected.